What's up, guys? Give me a couple minutes. If you guys don't mind. You're not going anywhere. me 2 minutes, guys.
Listen. Oh my God.
Alright, guys. I think we could get started. I hope more people will join as we go along, but if not, it is what it is. Before I get started, I want to welcome everybody. Austin Nance, JC1424, welcome. Long time no see. Jonathan Johnson's here. Mark Forget is here. Welder just made it in. Good to see you. So obviously we're going to be talking about the last race. I really didn't have plans on talking about it. I'm sure some of you might remember that I did say I didn't want to keep harping on the negativity of these pack races. It's no secret, everybody knows how much I hate these races. So I didn't want to just keep piling on, right? Every time there's a pack race, I didn't want to just rehash the same old stuff. But I noticed that several days have gone by and it still seems to be a pretty big deal on social media. Everybody's talking about it. And I honestly think we are now at a point where people are just finally waking up to what I've already known all along. Pack racing is a joke, right? And I think people are realizing it's not real racing. If you look at this picture behind me, I mean right here on the screen, the broadcast made a big deal out of it. People on social media, NASCAR posting pictures, this, 4 wide conga line, right? Making a big deal out of it, like, oh my God, these guys, look at this amazing driving. All these guys are so amazing. But it doesn't pass logic, right? It doesn't pass the smell test, right? Excuse me. If you're trying to sell me on how this is such an amazing thing we're watching on screen, it doesn't make sense, because to me, if it was so amazing and so difficult, they wouldn't have been able to do this for as long as they did. This thing just went on and on and on. And I'm like, well, which is it, right? Is this so amazing? Or is this something everybody in NASCAR can do? Because if you look at this is almost the whole field. It's not the whole field, but they're all holding a straight line. Big fucking deal. I mean, believe me, it was every bit as boring as it looks. I don't understand who would look at this and think this is exciting. This is a traffic jam at 180 plus miles an hour. But everybody's holding a straight line because nobody's trying to pass. Many drivers after the race admitted they were just half throttle, saving fuel. This is not anything to brag about or even celebrate. This is boring. This is what pack racing is in general. Like, big deal. We saw 4 wide. We usually see 2 wide. Sometimes 3. This time we saw 4. They're just showing you how easy this really is. This is not impressive. It's a joke. And that's what you're watching. When you watch a pack race, you're watching a high-speed traffic jam. This is... I'm glad that people are starting to really wake up to this. Like, even until recently, you saw a lot of fans that love this. They still promote this like it's such a great fucking thing. It's not. Let's see. JC says pack racing is purely for entertainment. NASCAR's top priority. Yep. Love the music, by the way. Thank you. Take your time. All good. Hold on a second. Jonathan says this race wasn't bad, mostly clean for the most part, but I did see things I didn't like. I'm sorry, man, but it's a bad race. It is what it always is. If you take out the wrecks, nothing really happens, and it doesn't really matter what position you're in. Positions in a pack race are meaningless until the last lap or until the end of a stage. That's it. It doesn't matter if you lead half the race. Who cares? It's the only type of racing where positions don't really matter throughout the race. It's like, who cares? If you just broke into the top 10, nobody cares in a pack race. It doesn't mean anything. It's not like other racetracks. Like, let's say Charlotte or Pocono, right? When you're racing and halfway through the race you work your way up to the top 10. And it's like, oh wow, you worked for that. Like, it means something. It means nothing in a pack race. This is like picking a name out of a hat. You don't know what's going to happen because you don't know if holes are going to open up or if somebody's going to help you. You can't do anything by yourself. It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm just glad people are finally... It does seem to me like people are looking at this and calling it for what it is. I don't know if I remember the last time we saw a pack race where this many people were still complaining about it days after. It's like, this was not a good product. I'm telling you, if all you do is tune in to the last 10 laps, you didn't miss anything. Except for whatever wrecks, whoever got in trouble. It was a garbage race. By the way, I do want to mention about Daniel Suarez. That was an incredibly stupid move he made. Yes, he's under pressure. I think that 2019 put him in a bad spot. Already starting the race with a penalty where you have to stop under a green flag condition at a pack race, you can't be out there by yourself. You are so much slower than the rest of the field that there's no way for you to stay on the lead lap. Now, his spotter should have told him, and I think NASCAR is gonna have to. I mean, I'm NASCAR never makes the right decision, but at some point they're going to have to decide to tell people, if you are getting caught by the field and you're by yourself, or it's one or two, three cars, NASCAR should step in and say, get down to the below the apron, let the field pass, and then get back on. If you lose a lap, that's tough. That's the way it goes. You cannot talk to me about safety and then tell me it's okay for these guys to blend in when they're so much slower. It's dangerous, right? So I love Suarez. I felt bad for him that he was put in that bad situation, but they should have told him, just get below the apron, let the field pass, and just try to blend in at the tail end. You're going to lose a lap. You might even lose the field. We're just going to have to wait it out, and hopefully we get a caution and you get your lap back. He ended up wrecking himself. Thank God he didn't wreck anyone else. But, I feel bad for BJ McLeod. He didn't ask for that. Thankfully, he didn't really get, caught up in a wreck or anything. But he almost did. And that was the worst thing I've ever seen Daniel Suarez do. So I'm not going to make excuses for him. That was terrible. Don't ever do that again. Now, you're witnessing a team, and he's not the only one, that 99 team. Like, there's a bunch of drivers in the playoffs that have no business there. This is what happens when you have winning you're in, and when you got a 16 field playoff field. You don't need 16 cars in the playoffs. I mean, that's almost half the field. I know you guys have heard me say it a million times. Bring this shit back down to 10 cars. Get rid of winning you're in. Get rid of these fucking stages. There's a lot of things they need to do, but and the pack race should not be part of the playoffs. This is a big blender. You might as well pick a name out of a hat. Anybody could have won this race. A lot of good cars get taken out. Your playoffs could be over because of this fucking shit show. It's a joke. See, I'm glad Ross and Blaney were both okay. Took some nasty. Yeah, I mean, that was a stupid push by Bowman, but you can't blame these drivers. They're put in this position. This is what happens in pack racing. You can't. NASCAR created this shit, and now they expect these guys to just function under this kind of atmosphere. So yeah, Bowman shouldn't be pushing in the apex or the corners, right? So, but still, it's dangerous. That was a dangerous hit to Blaney. So yeah, I'm glad he's okay. It's just so much to hate about this type of racing. Mark Fergier says, I think people are mostly tired of the bad officiating. I hate super speedways, but I don't think I'm in the majority. Yeah, I agree. But I think you're starting to see more and more people question what they're watching. They're like, this is not real racing. And I'm glad that this picture that you're looking at on the screen, that some people were trying to promote as like amazing, a lot of people called it out on social media. They were saying, this is not impressive. This is a traffic jam at 180 plus miles an hour. Half of these drivers admitted they were just half throttle. Anybody can do this. If this is so hard, why didn't you see any of these guys lose control? Because it's not that hard. This is not impressive at all. Jonathan says, Daniel Suarez that was stupid of him. I did like that one of the announcers said he did it because of the playoffs, makes you desperate. It was the Australian announcer. Yeah, I like that guy, by the way, that announcer. Yes, he was under pressure. This is what happens. But there's no excuse for that. You just can't do stuff like that. That is probably, like I said, I've never been so more upset with Suarez. That's my guy doing something so stupid. And there's no excuse for it. They just don't ever do something like that again. It was stupid. You can't blend into a hole when you're 15 mile an hour slower than everybody. That's incredibly dangerous. You just gotta swallow it, man. If you were gonna lose a lap no matter what. That was bad. Secondly, that huge wreck at the end, which knocked out half the field. I saw that Denny was below the cutoff line before that wreck, and now is sitting 30 points above the cutoff. Yeah, it's just, that's what I mean. How many? This has no business being in the playoffs. None. Also, that damaged vehicle policy, they didn't know what to do. They just doing it on the fly. Some guys they give a pass to, other guys they penalize. Then this week, it's a joke. The whole thing is a joke. Austin says, yeah, Jonathan, I don't know what's up with the DVP. Changes outcome of the points, screw those in the playoffs. Welder says, the biggest pileup in NASCAR history. I thought I seen it all at Talladega. What's up? Yeah, this is a joke. Music at the beginning, like... Queenie Verdon, welcome. New person in the live stream. Good to see you. They're all out there saving fuel. They're not racing. Yep. Jonathan says, I read a post from Motorsport Games. It turned out they are not really dead, but they are with the studio who made Le Mans Ultimate. It wasn't really anything important. I could care less about that company. I'm just surprised we haven't heard of anybody prosecuted for some kind of fraud. JC says, haven't seen any of the postseason, which I guess is 5 races now. Glad y'all have something to talk about and keep you occupied, though. I've been busy with other things. I'm just not interested in it. Queenie Verdon says, I don't know. I enjoy seeing them race on super speedways. I feel like the racing hasn't been the same since the early 2000s. Uncharacteristically bad move by Suarez. I agree. Yeah. And honestly, that whole team should take responsibility for that. You got to talk to your driver. You got to understand these guys are under pressure. His position, starting the race, having to go down the pits and do a green flag roll through the pits. He was in trouble. Like, you got to talk to your driver and you got to tell them, forget about that. We have the whole race. Don't do anything stupid. We're going to get that lap back. Don't do anything to get us out of it. When the pack catches you, just go below the apron. Let them pass. And blend back on the track as soon as you can. Whatever happens, happens. We screwed up. We put you in this spot. Don't give up. That's what they should have been telling him. You gotta remember, these guys are out there focused on their job. And sometimes you gotta get in there and kind of talk them down from the ledge and say, hey, don't worry about this. Don't do anything stupid. So I blame that whole team. But that's on him. He chose to try to blend in front of BJ McLeod. I hope he never does that again. It hurts me because sorry guys. My wife's talking to somebody. I'm trying to figure out who's that at the front door. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, it's a bad move on Suarez. I just, you can't be doing that, man. Mark says, I just found out these new tires don't have an inner liner. Another step backwards for safety. You can't even get going. This is bad, man. I'm not a fan of super speedway racing, and I'm sorry that it sounded like I am, but yeah, I do agree with you just saying it's good because I think there was only like 3 yellows. Yeah, but this isn't real racing, guys. You're watching. There's so much wrong with pack racing. I just can't. This is not real racing. Don't you realize there's a reason there are more surprise winners at Daytona and Talladega than anywhere. There's a reason for that. Because anybody can win. It's about luck. I'm not going to take anything away from Stenhouse or anybody who wins, right? It does take some skill. I'm not saying it doesn't take any. There is a knack to pack racing. There's a knack to it. But just because you have a knack for something doesn't mean it's fucking great racing. It's a shit show. Flagler America, welcome. Greetings. I'm not a fan of pack racing either, but think the lack of practice plays some part. Listen, man, we've been watching this for years. Even back when there was plenty of practice, it doesn't matter. When these guys are coming down to the end of a stage or the end of the race, they get desperate. They're going to start pushing when they weren't pushing before. That's where the big wrecks happen. That's never going to change no matter what car is out there. We see it in the Truck Series. We see it in Xfinity. It's the same thing. I know a lot of people want to blame everything on this gen car. Before this gen, pack racing still was terrible. The last time pack racing was actually good was with the Gen 4 car. That was 20 years ago. And by the way, that was pack racing technically, but the cars did break apart. There was handling involved. You didn't have what you're looking at on the screen right now. You didn't have that. You might have had something like that for the first few laps, but the handling took over. The cars they were up above the ground of at least another 2 inches, right? These cars are just barely up off the ground. They're sucked down into the pavement. There is no handling. Like, it's just it's like driving slot cars. I mean, Kyle Busch said it a couple years ago. Shitty part is Homestead is going to be out of the playoffs and Talladega will be in the round of 8. That's going to be, I think, scary because now drivers in the round of 8 will be more desperate. Yeah, and guess what? How many good cars that were in the playoffs probably now they're almost going to get eliminated because of this race. This has no business in the playoffs. JC says, excited to see Homestead next spring, going to Miami in March. Oh my, good for you, man. Yeah, that's one of the best tracks on the circuit. Yeah. I don't know how the weather is. Like, I know it could be iffy. Like, there's a lot of rain in Florida. But I hope it's good, man. Let's see, agrees not real racing takes a different type of talent, but I love tracks like Homestead, Bristol, Road Course. Those actual take. I agree. Addicted to speed. Welcome. What's your opinion on damaged vehicle policy? They need to overhaul that. Like, what kind of that whole thing? I don't know who came up with that. I don't think a race car driver came up with that. I don't know if that guy Myers has any background in racing. It's like there's a lot of people making decisions in NASCAR that have no business making those type of decisions. Damaged vehicle policy. First of all, you have to be smart enough to understand if the car can't get back to the pits and it's because they're on flat tires, there is nobody in their right mind that would say that they should be out of the race. It doesn't make sense. It's like, don't you have enough leeway during the race as an official to say, look, we have a damaged vehicle policy, but we understand this. The reason this car can't get back to the pits, he needs a tow. The car is fine. It's flat tires, or the car has some damage, but it's fixable. You don't just tell somebody your day's over. And then they didn't do that with other cars. They're selective. Like when Chase Elliott, they let him get this is why fans are upset. It's just crazy. They just do what they want at the drop of a hat, no rhyme or reason, and it does feel like some people get preferential treatment. That's how do you not expect people to see that? It's like, it's stupid. Kwani Verdun says, I agree the Gen 4 cars were real exciting. Super speedways, there was a lot more lead changes back in those days. Yeah, and those cars were a handful. And if you look, I'm gonna try to find it, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about. All right, hold on a second. I want to show you guys something real quick. So here's something else I wanna. Give me a second. Hold on. Hold on, guys. All right, you guys should. Now, before I show this clip, but this is something else that has been bugging me, and it's not just NBC or Fox. Like, they're all doing this. I swear to God, I fucking hate this thing with a passion. Can we bring back the old scrolling ticker across the top that was always moving? This is what you're stuck looking at the entire race. First of all, do we have to stare at this? Can you pop this up maybe once every 20 laps? Just pop it up to show us. Every fucking lap they're showing you who's in, who's out. Who's in, who's out. Like, they're beating you to death with this. I fucking hate it. Look how much room this takes up. Meanwhile, if you're trying to follow somebody and they're not in the top 10 or the top 5, you're stuck with this. And you're sitting there and you're waiting for them. Where is my guy? This is terrible. I fucking hate this with a passion. This should be constantly moving. At the very least, just keep that scrolling. Even if you don't want to bring back the old scrolling ticker across the top, this needs to keep moving. Show us the top 10, and then the from 11 to 20, keep that scrolling so you could see all the way back every car in the field. Instead, you're stuck sitting there staring at this, and this thing is meaningless. Oh my God, I'm staring at this, and look, this guy's 23 out of the points out of the from getting eliminated at next, whatever. It's like, who fucking cares, man? 3.5, 4 hours of this. This is too much. This is crazy. This is like, how much do you need to stare at this? And every lap, especially at a pack track, this changes every lap. There's no point in showing this like for the entire race. I'm sorry. I just, this shit really irks me, man. It's fucking annoying. So let's look at this.
Remember, he served a penalty. They're going to try to get around him. Todd's going to probably stay right to the bottom. This late in the race is no need in playing games with this.
Now, he didn't.
This is what happened.
He didn't cause the wreck, but you're asking these guys going so much faster to blend up and avoid this car. This is dangerous. You got to tell these guys to get off the track. Like, just go down to the apron at least.
Happened to AJ Allmendinger earlier.
This is not, look how much faster everybody is.
And look at that, look at the speed.
And there it is. Look at this.
Cedric's gone, so too is Logano. Harrison Burton's in there.
Does this look like a real race to you guys? This is a joke. This is a joke. You might as well pick a name out of a hat. I fucking hate pack racing. Hold on a second. Let me see if all right, hold on. 2000. Hold on a second. All right, we'll try 2004. I'm trying to get a...
Nine laps to go.
Man, it sucks. It's blurry, man. I was hoping for something better, but this is Daytona, guys. Look at these cars, how spread they are.
And now those other two drivers, Kurt Busch and Scott Wimmer, fading off Tony Stewart's back bumper. That's not good news for fans of the orange car.
Now, it's hard to pass, but at least you could see the driver playing with the draft and trying to get that run. And I'm telling you, if you could catch a guy, get close enough, you could make passes back then. This shit where everybody's inches apart for the whole race is not real racing. This is real racing. This is 20 years ago. Now, here's something else I want you guys to look at. What I mentioned about the cars being glued to the ground. These cars were very close to the ground, but if you pay attention, I don't know if you guys could see this, but there you could see the shadow under the car, which you can't even see now. This car is actually 2 to 3 inches off the ground, at least at the skirt. The front, the nose was a bit more into the ground, but there is air turbulence under the car. There is air under the car. That creates turbulence that makes the car harder to handle. That makes for good racing. The cars are now designed to get sucked down into the ground, and it's just wide open throttle all the time. I don't know if you guys are getting my point, but you could see it. You could see it. There is like a maybe 2 to 3 inches. And there's a slight shadow under the car. There's air getting underneath the car. These, adding horsepower, all that is all well and good. But it's things like that that need to happen. All right. I don't know who came up with that DVP, but it needs a massive overhaul. Agreed. JC says, I saw what you saw what I sent. Oh yeah, that it looked like you sent me model cars of past champions. I'll check it out when I'm done. JC. Jonathan says, I think the only thing that should stay is the minimum speed if you take the car behind the wall. Yeah, obviously, if you can't keep a certain minimum speed, you have no business out there and you're dangerous. So I agree with that. Austin says, agreed, please bring back the old scrolling ticker across the top. Yeah, I fucking hate that. Look how cool this was. Speaking of, yeah, check this out.
That's the handling.
So,
bobbles on that 8 car.
It's always
car by
moving.
Itself, the 20 is
This
just
one
not
is
going
kind
to be
of
able to
like
pull around and
blinking,
pass him
but
here at Daytona.
I don't
you
think
can
so.
see
Not
where
Dale
everyone is
Earnhardt
all the
Jr.
time.
Dale.
I like the one that's
And you
constantly
guys just
scrolling.
talking about the past history here
Look
at
at
this
the
track.
air-
Tony,
look at
look at
this.
the outside. Junior wants.
Look at it. Look at this shadow here under Tony Stewart's nose. You see that? That's air getting under there. I know that this is bad video quality, but you could see the shadow under the nose right there across the front valence. There's a shadow here. Look, each car has a slight shadow there. That means that nose is not like all the way down. There's enough air getting in underneath the car, and that creates turbulence that makes the cars a little bit harder to handle and creates handling problems. I don't know how else to put it, but yeah. $1,400, welcome. Pack racing has become a joke, but early 2000s it was good to me, but now I realize close finishes don't mean good racing. Yeah, every fucking pack race finishes close. Like, it's by design. You can't get away from anyone, so it's hard for there not to be a close race. You need people pushing, so you're always going to be in a pack. Plus, because of all the desperation and these manufactured cautions, you're always going to end the race in overtime or a late restart, guaranteeing a close, chaotic finish. It's manufactured. It's not good racing. Alessandre Silva, welcome. Pack racing is shit. Kwani says, right, I wait forever to see where my driver is. I fucking hate that, man. I swear to God, I can't watch these broadcasts because of that. And I'm like, where is he? Unless your driver is in the top 10, it's like you got to sit there and stare. Meanwhile, you're not focused on what's happening on the racetrack. You're staring at that pylon because you just want to know where your guy is. It's stupid. There are better ways to do it. If you look at the ticker from the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, that ticker is better. Look at the race from last weekend is better than that. Yeah, I got to check that out. Alessandro says Talladega is in my personal shit list because of the bloody pack racing. Thanks to that, Daytona and Talladega are a full-on lottery. Yeah, it's been this way for fucking since what you're looking at on screen right now. That's the last time this shit was good. And as you see here, do you see fucking 3 wide conga lines here? No. So NASCAR pushing for pack racing to really squeeze these people into a pack ruined everything. Diehard says, yeah, it used to be about handling. That's what you're looking at on screen right now. This is a handling race.
It's the inside. It was 56 years ago today on Daytona's famous beach course that NASCAR granted.
Look at this. This looks like a regular 1.5 mile track almost. This is amazing. Look at how spread out they are, running different lines, trying to find where your car handles the best and trying to manipulate the draft. This is where I can appreciate a driver's skill, because none of these cars are being pushed by anybody. That's the difference. Damaged vehicle policy is because damaged cars can be dangerous. I know why it's there. I agree with there has to be a damaged vehicle policy. I agree. But how they implement it is the problem. You can't just dismiss cars that have flat tires and say your day is done. It's how they implement it. Jonathan says the ticker that late model series uses is not perfect, but you can see the left side of the screen. Flagler says, if it's not you versus the track, racing sucks. Oh, it's not you, the track. Yeah, all right. Let's see. Alessandri says F1 suffers of the same thing. The cars are too stable. And, you know, everybody says it. Drivers say it. And NASCAR doesn't listen. They don't give a shit. They've been pushing this shit for a long time. I warned people. If you guys remember, I don't remember if it was 2018. I think it was 2018. I might be wrong. When they had that stupid All-Star race and they introduced that fucking restrictor plate package to Charlotte for the All-Star race, and they promoted this. Oh my God. And I warned everybody back then, this is not going to end well. And I was right. NASCAR needs to see the Gen 4 to know what racing is. Listen, man, this car is so far away from what that car was. Unless they're willing to just chuck it. But it's not just the Gen 4, this new car. Look at Xfinity and trucks. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same problem. It's not just this next gen car. It's the way every package has been designed to create more and more pack racing. You cannot break apart like what you're watching on screen here. This is amazing racing.
First sanctioned race. Also on February 15th, David Pearson won the 500. That was in 76.
Look at this.
Won it on February 15th in 81.
He made a pass on the bottom.
Won from the pole in 1987. But Alan, as you were talking about, many fans will tell you the greatest moment in NASCAR racing came more recently than that. When the Lake Dale.
Look at this. You could look. This is the quality of this video is not good, but you could see under the car. They're not all the way down on the ground.
Earnhardt Sr. won his first and only Daytona 500 6 years ago today, February 15th,
Look at this. You could see under the car.
1998.
And if you had the privilege of being here at Daytona that day, you'll never forget it. You saw what winning the Daytona 500 meant and the emotion that Dale Earnhardt showed in victory lane. It was like many had never seen him before.
I think Stewart laid back.
He laid back to get Kurt Busch, to try to get a push by Junior. He knew he couldn't do it by himself. He tried to find someone to help him.
And that's the smartest.
And you know what? That's okay. That's strategy. Like, yes, sometimes you need a guy to help you. I'm not 100% against that, but when it's in racing conditions like this, where that works for me, I can't watch 4 hours straight of a conga line and think that's fucking racing.
Thing he could do.
Exactly.
If he just lays back and lets Kurt know he's going to lay back, they'll get a heck of a run.
A lot of drivers call this drafting thing a high-speed game of chess. Strategy, moves, knowing which moves to make and when.
And that's why Earnhardt Jr. keep asking Stevie for that information, because if he sees the 20 laying back, he needs to lay back a little bit.
And his dad, Dale Earnhardt, was the greatest at that. He saw a car backing up, he would back up to them.
And the sound of those engines, holy shit. It's crazy, man. It's crazy what NASCAR has done to their own product. What fucking garbage. 2005 races in HD. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me see if I could find it. Hold on. Let's see 2006. Look at this. No, that's... All right, I don't have time, but let's see.
So we're going green this time?
To the front.
There goes the scrolling
For
ticker.
Joe Gibbs Racing.
You see? No matter who you're looking for, you're going to see it, because they show everybody.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the 20, the 48, and 25.
Look at this.
Rick Henry.
Look, you could see under the car. Like, there is a couple inches there.
Owned cars, teammates directly behind him.
Look at that scrolling ticker.
Yeah, I'm sure that 8 car will start getting real wide here in the.
This is way better. And look, you get the entire width of the screen to see the race. Instead, all this here, there's a big block with a pylon. It's horrible. Bring this back, man.
Last 9 laps. He'll be looking in that mirror.
What's Burton?
He may have a tire going down.
Burton?
Championship leader.
Be ready, guys. Be ready. It's coming.
The way that car wiggled, he may have a tire flat.
Marty.
This is amazing. It's just such a difference, man. All the footage I remember from back then, the cars they weren't as low to the ground. Whether they're behind another car or not, there is air getting underneath that car. That's something I noticed. JC, but Disco, if the cars have turbulence and take effort to drive, then only a few certain drivers can win. NASCAR wants everyone to be able to win. I don't think they're doing. What NASCAR wants is the illusion of like excitement. Like if you have 40 cars all jammed in a big traffic jam, they think that looks impressive, right? That's what it is. So you hold on a second. That's what they think NASCAR. That's what NASCAR thinks you want to see. This is what they think looks impressive to people. Addicted to Speed says if you want to look for a better quality Gen 4 Daytona race, look for the 07 Daytona 5 Pepsi uploaded by Voti. Pack racing is bad for everyone, even to see. You see 2 to 3 happy trains until the yeah. And Viper, welcome. Hey Disco, I've grown sour to pack racing too over this past year. The whole 4 wide thing didn't feel special to me. Yeah, because your brain actually works. Like this is not. It's a traffic jam. It's a joke. The fact that they did this for like 8 minutes straight, that should prove to you that this is not hard. They're all doing it. Alessandro said, I get pack racing in Talladega with the 80s cars, and I was 18th in NASCAR racing 2003. And when a crash happened, I was collected, nowhere to go. Mark Ferget says they don't have to chuck this new car. They just need to keep working on it like they did with the car of tomorrow. That's where NASCAR is failing. Yeah, there's a lot they can do to improve it. Like I already told you guys, the key to short track and the road courses is tell Goodyear to tread the tires. They will wear out and the racing will be fantastic. Everybody's focused on changing all this difficult shit on the car when all you need is to tread the tires. We saw what happened when the tires wore at Bristol back in the first race this year. Okay? And now you saw the second Bristol race, there was no tire wear. What's the difference? The tires. That was the difference between those two races. So tread the tires. Alessandri says, look at this great racing in Daytona happened at some point. Yeah, it used to be great. 1400 says, there's many things to equate to the problem with today's NASCAR. Nepotism, TV networks, corporate control, lack of good games to promote and market the sport. Well, the product is a problem. If the product is good, eventually, it doesn't happen overnight, ratings will go up. NASCAR has gotten away from letting sports be sports, right? It's not supposed to be predictable. It's not supposed to be something you can manipulate and control. Just let it happen. Sometimes you're going to get a good race. Sometimes you're not. That's sports. They're trying to force these races to be same level of entertainment every race with the same dramatic finishes. Every race has this late race caution and this late restart that guarantees chaos. They're manufacturing this shit and they're destroying their own product. I'm about to go, guys. So I'll read the last few comments. I want to see now the old NASCAR season looks good. That's more easy than find old F1. The freight train racing sucked too. Yeah, I don't like the freight train, but at least with those old races, they broke up after a while. And then the handling came into picture. And this what we've been getting since then is garbage. This has no business being in the playoffs at all. Kwani says, I was a kid during the Gen 4 days. I find myself watching old super speedway races quite often these days. Yeah, it's been 15 to 20 years since we've had really good racing at these pack racing tracks. It's a shame NASCAR only got available in Brazilian cables in 2007. Well, at least you're down with it, man. At least you discovered it. Flagler says simple and to the point ticker. Yeah, man. And it doesn't take up as much of your screen. It's just not as intrusive. And you don't have to sit there and stare at it for half an hour waiting for it to show you where everyone is. It's fucking dumb. Via the Brazilian Speed Channel. I know racing is big in Brazil. Kwani says, this might sound like a crazy question, but do you think NASCAR sometimes rig these races? I don't know if they rig. Well, yeah, maybe they do. Like, when you call these phantom cautions, like, the problem with them is, let's say a car spins out and nobody's around. Sometimes they let it play out and they don't call a caution. The guy's not on the track and he's got control of the car. They just let it keep going. Sometimes they actually do that. And then you'll see another guy does it, or under a different situation, or let's say Chase Elliott spins out, but he's completely has control, or he scrapes the wall, caution. So why is that? I don't know if it's rigged, but I don't blame people for assuming that it is. Who could blame people? This is what happens when you're not consistent. And stop calling everything a fucking caution. Some of these cautions don't need to be called. Let the race play out. But they want those restarts. They want those manufactured chaotic moments. But yet, technically, yeah, they are rigging these races by just doing that. Viper says 2 white restarts as a whole are somewhat of a gimmick to me. Missed the single file restarts. Can't believe I'm saying that. Well, fans got to take blame for some of this too. I remember when we had single file restarts and people would complain about that. And then, sometimes NASCAR's trying to give people what they want. They actually, sometimes I have to say they actually try. Which is why I tell people, be careful what you wish for. And for some reason, NASCAR got the impression that people like glued together cars, like all the time, glued together pack racing, and they try to institute it everywhere. Goodyear tires is the solution. The current tire is too much of a glue. Yeah, all they gotta do is put a few treads in the tire. I'm not saying tread them like rain tires. That's too much. But if you put 3 treads down the tire, see what that's like. If it's too much, then go to 2 treads. If it's not enough, go to 4 treads. Like, it's easy to control that. It's an easy solution. You don't have to worry about compound like as much. It's still an issue, but they're trying to find a magic compound, which there is no magic compound, because the same compound you bring, if the weather's different, the track temperature is different, it's not going to react the same. Treaded tire is the solution. And I'm not saying tread the tire everywhere. The 1.5 and 2 mile tracks are perfect. Leave that alone. But the short tracks and the road courses, tread the tires. 1400 says, I miss single file restarts too. It's like they made the rules for the dumb assholes who don't like NASCAR and have the attention span of a squirrel. I agree. Arla Connie, welcome. The race was boring. I just rooting for the crash because there would be nothing else to see. Let me tell you something. When you have fans who just want to see a crash, what does that say about your fucking product? It's embarrassing. Alessandro says, now here in Brazil we're gonna have oval course in Curvelo. That's cool. If I get a chance, I'll look it up online. 1400 on Earth 2. There's no catch fences, no restricted engine. The last race is Daytona. The beer is free, and there's no cautions. Earth 2. I don't know anything about that. Brazilian NASCAR Championship wants to call the drivers from Xfinity and Cup, some of them to run with Brazilian drivers. That'd be cool. In Curvelo, that would be cool. That's the best thing that could happen, because that promotes itself. Brazilian NASCAR drivers, they probably got guns in the car. That's not nice. All right, guys. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut the live stream. I got stuff to do. I want to thank everybody for joining, and we all got to let off some steam. I mean, I wish NASCAR would get its head out of its ass, but unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Let's see, year from last year, there's a Brazilian NASCAR Championship. If I get a chance, I'll look that up. Anyway, guys, I want to wish everybody a good day. Thank you for joining the live stream, and I'll see you guys around soon. You guys have a good one, and it's time for me to go. Later. Have a good one, guys.